Hello everyone, it's Professor Sadiq Noor, and today in this video I'm gonna demonstrate to you and show you how to complete Excel Chapter 5 Cumulative Assignment, which is travel expenses for PC and Mac. So let's start. So I'm already in the canvas, as you see. And you have to go to the assignment section of the canvas. You have to scroll it down until you see Excel Chapter 5, Cumulative Assessment, Travel, Expenses for PC and Mac. Click on it to download the starting material. Click on Open Person. So you have 3 attempts for this assignment. So I will click Start. So the first thing that you need is obviously you need to download the material, the starting material for the assignment, right? So also I will put these files that I'm using, I will put it under the description of the video. So any one of you wants to follow me the step by step, so you can follow me. So I will put the file under the description for this video, right? So in this case, I will download and I will work on it offline. So for this assignment, obviously, you need to have Microsoft Excel 2024 or Excel 365 installed in your computer. So once you have done with the step, then the last thing you have to do is you have to upload the file and submit it for grading, which I'm going to show you at the end of the uh, after we finish all the steps, right? So we have to download the files first. So click on the download materials. You have only 2 files. One of the file is Microsoft Word, the first one that has the instruction what we need to do. And then the second file you see is Excel. And this is the one that we have to complete it, right? Following the instruction in the Microsoft Word. So you can download them individually, or you can download all the 2 files at once. So I will click download all files, so I can download both the files. As you see, both file is being downloaded. I'm using Firefox browser. And now I will close. And then you can close your tab here for the MyLab. You can close it. You don't need it anymore. And I will minimize my canvas. Now I will go now to my downloads, which is I will go to my file explorer. I will go to my file explorer, and then I will go to the downloads. And then this is the 2 files that I downloaded earlier. So one of them is Excel, the other one is Microsoft Word. So I will open the Microsoft Word first. And then enable editing. And then you can zoom the instructions, so you're gonna see what you need to do. So I will try to zoom it. Perfect. Now I will go back to my file explorer, the yellow folder on my taskbar, and I will open the Excel file, double click it, and then be sure that enable editing. That's the first step you need to do. And then I will zoom it also. Now, in this case, as you see, I have 2 tabs. My 2 worksheet tabs has the subtotals and expenses, right? So we have to work on these 2-tab worksheet for right now, and then we will keep on adding the other worksheet in this exercise, in this assignment, right? So, as you know, this is your tabs. Below the tab is your ribbon. This is your ribbon. Below the ribbon, this guy here is your formula bar. The fx is to insert a function. The check sign is to enter X if you don't want to enter what you typed on the formula bar. And then this box is the name box. It tells you where you are looking. Like now, my cursor, my pointer is in A1. So that's why it's A1, right? The Excel worksheet consists of columns, which is represented by alphabet. And also the worksheet is represented by rows, and the rows is represented by numbers, right? So in a worksheet, the worksheet consists of two things, a column and a row. The column is represented by an alphabet, and then the rows are represented by numbers. So below the worksheet, you will see here is going to be the tab for your worksheets. And then below that is the status bar. It shows you that Excel is ready to go. Accessibility is good to go. And then I have the horizontal scroll bar to move left and right. And I have the vertical scroll bar to allow me to move up and down. And then I have the different kinds of views, normal, page layout, and then page break preview. And then I have the magnify to zoom the worksheet. Now, Excel file is a workbook, right? And a spreadsheet. So within the workbook, you can have multiple worksheets. Like in this case, in this workbook, we have 2 worksheets, right? So let's start with our instruction. So the first step is to just open the file, which we did. The file that's going to be graded. Now, the second step, it says, before using the subtotal command, you must first sort the data, right? On the subtotal worksheet, sort the data by employee and further sort by category, both in alphabetical order, right? So click Excel again. Now we are in the subtotal worksheet, as you see here. Now we will click inside here, the employee Davison, and then be sure that you are in the home tab, and then you will see editing group on the ribbon. Click on the small black down arrow, and then click custom sort, right? Custom sort. And then from here, I want to sort by employee from A to Z, and then add a level for the next column. And then here I will say category, and then I want to sort it the order from A to Z, and then click OK. That's done. Let's go back. So that's what we did. On the subtotal worksheet, sort the data by employee and further sort by category, both in alphabetical order. Done. The next one now is you want to subtotal the data to calculate the expenses by employee. Expenses by employee. So we want to add the subtotal the data to calculate the expenses by employee, right? So use the subtotal feature to insert the subtotal rows by the employee to calculate the total expense by the employee. And then we have to select the summary below data. So let's go back. So the subtotal is under the data tab. So click the data tab and then all the way to the end, you will see the group that says outline. Click on subtotal. From here now, add each change in. This will be employee. Use the function you want to get the sum, right? Add the subtotal to expense and take off the category, right? And then be sure that the summary below data is being what? Checked. All right. So let's go back to the instruction. Use the subtotal feature to insert the subtotal rows by employee to calculate the total, which is the sum expense by employee, and select the summary below the data. So summary below data has been checked. Add the subtotal to the expense using the function sum by each change in the employee, and then click OK. Perfect. Now, as you see, it applies the subtotal for the employee habit. The total, it add up all these expenses and the total is this. For Davison, the total is 2,496 and 13, right? So let's go back and read the instruction. Now you want to hide the details for 2 employees and focus on the detail for the remaining employees, right? So collapse the Davison and the Miller section to show only their totals. But we have to leave the other employees in the visual rows displayed. So we need to hide Davison and Miller. So go back. Now, as you see here, that's Davison. And then we need to click the negative to collapse it, right? If you want to open it again, click the plus sign. It's going to show you all the detail about Davison. So because we need to hide it, I will hit the button negative. It collapses it. And then I have Davison total only. And then the next one we need is the Miller, right? Miller. So go and click on the negative. That also will collapse Miller. Perfect. So we are unable to see the detail of Davison. Only we are getting the total, right? But we can see the other employees information, Abbott, Hard, and Everton. All right. So that is that. Let's get back. Now, the next one, we done with step number 4. Number 5. For more detailed analysis, you are ready to create a pivot table, right? You are about to create what? A pivot table. So pivot table actually is very important in Excel, right? So the pivot table, it's very easy to summarize your data actually, right? So the pivot table in Excel is called, actually we call it a pivot table reports, and the pivot chart report provide a method to manipulate and visualize the data, right? To visualize the data. That's why we use the pivot. So a pivot table is a worksheet table designed to create a meaningful data summaries that analyze the worksheets containing a large amount of data, right? So as an interactive display of a worksheet data, a pivot table lets users summarize the data by selecting and grouping the category, right? So I will show you how we're gonna accomplish this task. So what we need to do now, we have to create the pivot table. So use the expenses worksheet to create a blank pivot table on a new worksheet, and we have to name the new worksheet as summary, right? Summary, and then we have to name the pivot table as category. All right. So let's get back to Excel. Now, the next worksheet that we have is the expense. So click the expense. So I will zoom it a little bit so you're gonna see well. All right. So your cursor has to be inside the table. Anywhere you can put your cursor. Now we have to go to insert, and then the first group under the insert tab on the ribbon is tables, and then you want to create a pivot table, right? So click on it, and then automatically is gonna select the data that your cursor was in. So that's the range that I want to use to create what? The pivot table, right? So in this case, if you look at this data here, it's very hard to figure out what is what. But with the pivot table, we can summarize the data so easy. So we get the pivot table from the table or range dialog box. It tells you what the range is, so that's perfect. Don't change anything here. The next is choose where you want the pivot table to be placed. So we want the new pivot table to be in a new worksheet, right? So click OK. So as you see, a new sheet has been added with the sheet 1, right? So we have to name it first. We will name it as summary, so I will copy this, Control C. Double click the sheet 1 until you see the gray highlighted. And then you can either type it, write down summary, or paste, and then press the enter key. That is done. Now this is the blank pivot table, right? So let's go back and read what is next. And then we need to name it, right? The next one is to name it. We want to name the pivot table as categories. So highlight Control and C to copy it. And then go back to Excel. The pivot table is here. So the name is pivot table 1. So select and then Control V to paste and press the enter key. So that you see here now, it has the name categories, right? Next, we're done with the step number 5. Number 6. Now you want to include the category and expenses field in the pivot table. So we need to have two category. We need to include the category and the expense, two fields, right? So we need to use the category and expense field, enabling the Excel to determine where the field to go in the pivot. So let's go back. And if you look in the right hand side, right, that's where this is the field. This is your pivot table field, right? So from here is you have to choose what you want to be as a column, which field you want as a row, which one you want as a column, which of the field you want to use for the total or averages, right? And which of the field from the pivot table you want this to be to filter by, right? To filter the records. So in this case, we will use category and then we want expense. As you see that the category will be the row by category, and then because expense is a number, right? So automatically it takes it to the section, to the box where it says values. All right. So as you see, I clicked on the field and automatically it creates my pivot table report for the category and the expenses and the sum of the, by default is a sum of expenses, right? So the airfare, for example, now if you go back to your expenses, right? So here you see I have airfare, and then if you go down here, I have airfare, and I don't know what the total of these airfare is all about, right? But with the pivot table now, it makes life easier. All the categories were grouped, and then I have the total of all the airfare, the hotels, the meals, miscellaneous, registration, and so on. And then I have the grand total, right? So that's how the pivot table is so important in Excel. So the next we need to do, let's go back and read. So we're done with step number 6. We added the category and the expense field. Now, let me scroll down. Step number 7. You want to display the average expenses instead of total, right? So instead of being a total, we need to find the average expense. So we need to modify the value field to determine the average expense by category, right? So we need to change the custom name also to average expense. So as I told you earlier, it's gonna be a sum. You see here is a sum, right? So we can go here, see where my mouse is in the value box, and then you can do right click on the sum of the expense. Sorry, here. Click on here. Let me do it again. So just click, and then you will see here value field setting. Click on it, and then you want to find the average, right? And then we will click OK. Now it says the average of expense, right? Let's go back. Average expense. So we need to change to average expense, right? And then we need to format the value field with accounting number format. So it says now average of expense. So you can double click it, and then we will say average expense. Let's read back. Average expense. So average expense. Perfect. And then if you want to, they said the next step was format the values field with accounting number format. So from here, I can go to the number format, is account already, and then click OK, and then OK. As you see now, we have average expense, and also we have the averages now for the airfare, hotel, meals, miscellaneous, and the registration. So step number 7 and 8, we're done with it. Now is step number 9. You want to display a meaningful label and select a different layout, right? So in this case, type category in cell A3 and change the grand totals layout option to on for row only, right? So first, as you see, the row it says row labels. So it's very hard to figure out what is this, right? So double click it, and we will change this to category A3, right? A and 3. Press the enter key. And then what the book says, what the assignment says, that we have to go to the next one is after we change the A3 to category and change the grand total layout option on row only. So the next thing is, let's go to the design tab. And then in the design tab, which is the contextual tab for the pivot. Now, if you look here, the first group on the ribbon is layout. and then this is the grand total here. Click the down black arrow, and then we are looking for on for rows only. So click this option. Perfect. Now let's get back and read. So we're done with the step number 9. Number 10. Apply light blue beveled style dark 2 and display the banded rows. All right. So let's go back. And as we are in the design tab, you will see the pivot table styles and which style they want us to use. Apply light blue pivot style dark 2. So click the black down arrow for more. So what is this one? Light blue pivot style dark 2. As you see on the screen tip, it tells you which one is this style. So we are looking for light blue pivot style dark 2. Click on it. Let's confirm it again. Apply light blue pivot style dark 2. So this one is dark 2. Perfect. So I will zoom it a little bit so you're gonna see well. Next step, and then they said display the banded rows. Go back to your Excel. As you see while you were in the design tab, you will see here the banded columns and the banded row. So we need the banded row. As you see the banded row, like the alternative color you got, if I remove it, it's straight one color. You see that? The difference. So the banded rows, they will have light blue, then dark, light, dark, and so on. All right. Step number 9, we're done with it. Step number 11. To make it easy to filter the pivot table results, you will insert and format a slicer. The slicer is actually a visual way of filtering the data in the pivot table. All right. So to insert the slicer, so actually the slicer are a graphic object that you click to filter the data in a pivot table and the pivot chart. So each slicer button clearly identifies its purposes, and it makes it easy to interpret the data displayed in the pivot table report. All right. So to do that, we will go back, and then from here, we will click back the pivot analyze tab, click it, and then you will see the filter group on the ribbon. Click on insert slicer. You will get the dialog box insert slicer, and then it's ask you which one you want. So check employee, and then click OK. Right? So let me show you the good thing. If you click Davison, right? So this will be all about Davison. If you select Abbott, these are all the information about Abbott. If you wanna filter by Miller, select the slicer Miller, and these are all about Miller. All right. So in this case, and then if you wanna remove the filter, you will hit here to clean it, right? So the next thing, once you insert the slicer, change the slicer height to 2 inches and apply light dark slicer. So we have to change the style of the slicer to dark 5. So first we need to change the height. You see here, you have now a new tab that says slicer in the right of the help. And then we need to change the height to 2 and press the enter key. Perfect. And then the next thing, we want to change the style. See the style here? Under the slicer tab in the right of the help, click the small down black arrow, and then we are looking for light blue slicer dark 5. All right. Now let's check again. It says apply the light blue slicer dark 5 and then move the slicer so that the upper left corner is in cell A10. So we have to drag it to cell A10. So move your cursor up until you see the 4 black arrow, you see. Hold the left key of your mouse and drag it to A10. Perfect. Let's go and read again. So we're done with this. So move the slicer so that the upper left corner is in cell A10. Cell A10. Perfect. Let's move down. Step number 12. You want to insert another pivot table to analyze the data on the expense worksheet. So we're going to use the expense worksheet to create another blank pivot table on a sheet named totals, right? So we will go back, select the expense, and then your cursor has to be inside any of the column. In my case, it's under the miscellaneous. And then we will go back to insert pivot table from the table group. Automatically the category will be selected. I want to put it in a new worksheet. Click OK. Now we need to name this sheet according to the instruction. It has to be totals. If you want to copy this, Control C to copy, or you can type it. Then double click the sheet 2, and then you can either type totals or you can paste it what you copied and press the enter key. And then the pivot table name. So we have to see what we want to change to. We want to change it to employees. Copy, Control C. Go back here, and you see it says pivot table 2. So we need to give a name. Click on it and paste, Control V, or type it and press enter. As you see now, it has a name. Now add the employee. Add the employee, right? We need now to add the employees to the rows and add the expense field to the value area and sort the pivot table from largest to smallest, right? So to do that, we will go back. So first of all, we need employee to be the row. And then we want expenses as the value, right? Now let's go back and read. So add the employee to the row, we did that, and add the expense field to the value. Now we need to sort the pivot table from largest to smallest expense, right? So the next now we need to do, we have to sort, all right? So let's go back. And then we will select this, right? And then we have to sort it, all right? So if you go to the design, or we can go back to the home or the data, sorry, data also you can do sorting, you see? You can do your sort. So we want to sort by sort the pivot table from largest to smallest expense. This is the expense. So we want to sort by smallest from A to Z. All right. From largest to smallest. Now, so also you can do like this. You can go to home. You can do editing group to confirm, and then go here, and then you see here it says sort largest to smallest. So we need to sort it from largest to smallest. Let me read again. Sort the pivot table from largest to smallest expense. So go back to the home tab. You can go here and then largest to smallest. Largest to smallest, the expense. So you sort it. So let's read. Now move down to step number 13. Change the name for the expense column to totals and format the field with accounting number format. So what we need to do is we will change this. So double click it and give the name totals, and then go to the number format. Accounting is already accounting. Perfect. Click OK. Click OK. Perfect. Let's go and read again. So we're done with step number 13. Change the name for the expense column to totals, and we just double clicked it, and then we in the dialog box we changed the name to totals, and then we format the field with accounting number format. Now the step number 14. Insert a calculated field to subtract 2659 from the total field. After creating the field using the default field name, for example, field 1, change the custom name to above or below. And then we have to apply the accounting number format. So what I will do, I will copy this. So we need to calculate the field to subtract this from the total. So we need this to be minus from the total. All right. So let's go. So we will go here. Sorry, we will go to click inside here, and then we will go to the tab that says Pivot Analyze, and then we have to go to the calculations, and then click for me fields, item and set, click on it, and you want to create a calculated field, and then we're gonna select here equal what. So we want to do to subtract 26 from the total field. So we need to subtract this from the total field. So let's go back, and then the expense minus. All right. And then the field 1 has to be named above the average. And then you have to click insert. Oh, sorry, add. Click the add to add this new column. And then click OK. As you see, it's been added. All right. Now, the next thing is we have to change the name. So you can go here, you can just change it from here, from the formula bar. So above, we change it. It said the name already exists. So we cannot just say, we will put 1. Okay. So let me delete this. So if you double click this, it's gonna give you all the information how you did that, the details. So we don't want it actually. So right click and delete. So we have the average here. You can click on it. You can go to view field. And then from here, we have what you have done here above and below. Let's see if we're gonna change. The number format has to be account. So it says that this name already exists. All right, she is already here. So what we can do, we can delete and then do it again. So let's do it again. Analyze, calculate it. So the name is already here. That could create a problem. So let's try again. So the name will be above, and then the formula will be this amount has to be minus from the total. So this minus the expense. Right? So we need to do it again. Insert. So it's already here, so we can put it now. We added it. Now we can just check the box. It added it here. All right. So let's read again. Set the 10.86 approximate as the width for the column B and 13.71 for the column C. Okay. So what we could do now, 1086. Select the column B. Be sure you are in the Home tab. And then let's go to Format, Column Width, and then type 10.86. Is that what they want? 10.86 for column B and 1371. Click OK. Now C. Be sure you are in the Home tab. Cell Group, Format, go to the column width and 13.71. So set the 1086 approximate the width for the column B and 13.7 for the column C, and change the row height of row 3 to 30. And then we have to wrap the C3. So click OK. Now we need to wrap. First, we need to increase the size of the column. So go to the row 3 until you see the split black arrow and make this to be 30, which is 50 pixels. And then select the C3. And then we have to go to the Home tab, the alignment, wrap the text. All right, wrap the text. And then we will see if we can get rid of this. So above or below, we have to wrap it. So obviously, it has to be above or below. So just double click it and then delete the sum of, right? It worked. So just keep on trying. Double click it. Once you see the value field, and then just type above or below. All right. Now the next thing we need to do, let's go and read, is step number 16. Insert the getBeaver function in cell F1 in the expense worksheet. It should retrieve the value from the cell B9 in the total worksheet. So what the getBeaver data does, the function, what this function does is that from the other table, whatever the total in the Beaver table is, you can move it to the other worksheet, which I'm going to show you now right now. So let's go to the expense, and you see here I have the total. So go to F1 and start with equal, and then we have to go to which worksheet, the total worksheet and B9. So click on the totals, and then column B and 9. So we need the grand total of the total, this one, and then press the enter key. It's done. All right. So that's what we call the getBeaver. This is the function getBeaver data function. So we pull up the grand total from the total worksheet, which was a Beaver table, and then we add it into F1 in the expenses worksheet. Now the step number 17, we are almost at the end. Now you want to create a Beaver chart to depict the data visually. Create a cluster column Beaver from the Beaver table and move the Beaver chart to a new chart sheet named chart and hide all the field buttons, right? We need to do that. So to do that, we will go back and we have to select this one, the total one, right? So we have to move our cursor anywhere, like here, all right? So we have to move our cursor, and then let's read back. Now you want to create a pivot chart, right? So the pivot chart is an Excel feature that lets you summarize the worksheet data in the form of a chart and rearrange the parts of the chart structure to explore the new data relationship, right? So simply you can call it pivot chart, right? So let's do this. We're gonna go to insert, and then as you see here, I have the chart, and then you will click pivot chart, and then we are looking for clustered column. All right, so let's see. Create a cluster column pivot from the pivot table and move the chart to a new. So let's go back, click OK. So the chart is in, but we need to move the chart in its own worksheet, right? So as you see here, I have something says design. Under the design, you will see the last option on the ribbon is location. So click on move and then click on a new sheet, and then we have to call it chart. So remove the one and then click OK. So now we have it in a new chart, a new worksheet, only the chart, right? See, now click, and then the next thing, let's go and read. Hide all the field buttons in the pivot chart. So obviously we don't want these buttons, so we need to hide it. So you see here under the pivot analyze tab, right? Let me do it again here. And then you see this field button, you will click on to hide it. You don't want it. You see now I don't have. So if you click on it, you notice that table above or below, then this guy here. I don't want all this field to be visible on my chart. So click here to hide it, or you can go here and then you can say hide all, right? So we want to hide. As you see, I don't have anything now. All the field buttons are hidden now. If you go here, you will see they are not available, right? Because you said hide all. So the next step, number 18, add the chart title above the chart and type expense by employee. So I will copy this, Control C to copy, and change the chart style to style 14. Okay. So first we need to add the title. So click the plus, which is the chart element. And then from the chart element, you will choose chart title. And then double click until you select the whole thing here, chart title, and override by what you copied earlier. And then click the chart again. And then we will go to design. And this is the chart styles here. All right. Chart style. Click the down for more. And we are looking for 14, style number 14. As you move around, it's going to tell you what the styles are. This is 12, so I'm looking for 14. This is the one. Perfect. So we change the chart style to style 14. Number 19, apply 11-point font size to the value access and display the access as an accounting number format with 0 decimal place, right? Obviously, they are talking about these vertical values here. They have a decimal place, so we don't want to have any decimal because it makes clutter your number. See, it's too much. So we want to remove the two decimals we have here. So what you need is click and then you have to move your cursor over any of the number and do right click on it. And then we need to go to format axis because that's the y-axis. And then be sure you are at the end one where it says access options. Scroll until you see the last option that says numbers. Click on it. It's gonna open more option for you, right? So be sure that the category is accounting. That is already accounting. So just take out this and make it 0. You don't want any 2 decimal places. As you see here, it has 3,500.00. So we don't want the 0.00. So once you have done that, press the enter key. And then as you see, the decimals are gone. And then we have to hit the X to close the format access pane. All right. Let's go back and read. Now save and close, and then we have to submit the file to MyLab for grading. So I will save it from the floppy disk here, from the access toolbar. Save it. So I will save it one more time. Then I will close it. I will close my instruction. Then I will go back to my canvas. I will go to the assignment. I will scroll until I find Excel chapter 5, cumulative assignment, travel expenses for PC and Mac. Click on it. Open person. It's gonna launch MyLab, and then you will hit continue. Let's go to the last box. Upload completed assignment. And then you have to go to the downloads and your Excel file that you completed it. In my case, my file was on the download section. So if you put it somewhere else, then you have to go to that section to pull up that file, the completed one. So that's my file here. I will click open, and then I will upload it to see what my grade. Kudos, your file has been submitted for grading. Continue. It says you have 98%, so let's review and see where the problem is. So let's scroll down. So the only thing I missed was the size. I didn't shrink it to 11. So that's not a big problem. So I will close it. And then I will close this, the summary. So what I will do is I will click assignment again, and I will go back to my Excel file. Actually, I was rushing, so I forgot that step to shrink it down. So select, after you remove the decimals, now select, go back to the home, and it says 9, so we have to make it 11. All right. So if you open the instruction, it did mention that we have to change it. See, apply 11 point font size to the value axis. So obviously I was rushing, so I did not apply the 11. It was 9. So we have to change from 9 to 11, right? So now I should be good to go. So close the instruction, save your file again. That's good because it shows you what the problem is, and then you can fix it, and then you can upload it again. Now I will go back to my canvas assignment again. I will scroll down until I see Excel chapter 5, cumulative assessment, travel expenses. Click on it. open person, click start. Let's get to the last box, upload file and submit for grading. Select, open, upload. Kudos, your file has been submitted for grading. Let's check. 100%. Right? So if you want to check, review, then if there is any red, then that's the problem. If you don't see anything, that's why mine is 100%. I don't have any problem. That was a minor error that I did. All right. So I had my score here, the points I earned. There is nothing there, no problem. That's my score. All right. So you can close it. And then you can click OK. Once you're done, you will be back and then you can check your grade. So with that, I hope that you learn how to complete Excel Chapter 5 Cumulative Assessment Travel Expenses. And you need to practice and be sure that you subscribe to the channel so that I can create more productive videos to help you be master in Excel. So thank you so much. The file that I was using is under the description of the video. You can download and you can follow the steps with me. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.